I really don't want to add a bunch. I'm happy with that video, but I do want to say that I may get some ideas after this, but I do want to say that action bias and the inaction bias are two wonderful examples of ways in which knowing our programming is going to help us in a war situation. All right, so first things first. Do you know what I mean by the action bias, the inaction bias? Did you say are you thinking, oh yeah, some people are prefer action and some people like don't act? Is that what you're thinking? No, not at all. But that's what we have to wait for the apocalypse for you to want to learn. I'll say it now anyway. That's not at all what biases are. It's not what we're talking about. No, we have both of these voices in our minds, but they get triggered by different situations. The inaction bias, in a situation where you have, let's say, two options. One, you act, and the acting may cause harm. Two, you don't act, and the not acting may cause harm. Regardless of any comparison between the amount of harm done. Oh, is that what you're thinking? You're thinking, oh, then it would matter how much harm, blah, blah. You're so fucking dumb and stubbornly dumb. No, it would be that, it would be regardless of how much harm is done, you will prefer the inaction. Well, you don't believe me? Have you ever discussed the trolley dilemma with someone? Why were you discussing it? Isn't it obvious? Obviously, you killed the one person to save the five. Because you just told me, oh, it would probably depend then on how much harm. Because I had a conversation recently with a guy. And I was talking about when you ask somebody for something, you have to say the word because. And he was like, oh yeah, well, somebody asked me, I'd probably be thinking, how much does their rush compare to how much I'm in a rush? Listen to me. The experiment shows us that no matter what you say, all you have to say is the word because. None of that analysis happens. Stop thinking you analyze this shit. So you were saying that you knew that, but you didn't want to upset me, and so you were probably thinking that whether we decide on action or inaction, it's not because we evaluate the amount of harm done. It's what the existence of the trolley problem discussion proves that. Okay, so in fact, any time that you see this choice, the inaction bias is the fact that seeing this choice causes you to prefer inaction. So yes, now in this case, you have a tendency towards inaction, you could say, if you looked at different cases and statistics or something, triggered by that situation. The action bias is when there's nothing that you can do, but there is something that, there is a problem, and so obviously we evolved. Our problem is like, oh, what should I do? What should I do? What should I do? Well, let's say that the brain goes, what should I do? What should I do? And it comes up with nothing. So now when you're in a situation where you don't have an idea of what to do, but something needs to be done about this problem, well, since we're not nuanced, we don't realize, yeah, but something needs to be done on this problem, but if I don't have an idea of what I can do, maybe I shouldn't do anything. Maybe I need to think outside the box. Maybe something else needs to intervene. I don't know. But no, what happens is we go, well, we don't go, but the mechanism goes, okay, problem, that calls the find a solution voice. Find a solution voice is going crazy. Where's the solution? We're desperate. Any fucking voice that can be triggered by find a solution is triggered. And let's say they keep getting shut down by other voices because those ideas for somehow don't work, or they don't sing, they shope. And now we've got no idea of what we could do, but we know that something has to be done. Well, guess what's going to happen? We're going to do something. So when presented with the choice of doing, of needing to do something, oh, but you would be like, oh, but then in the trolley dilemma, then why didn't you say, oh, then we should go for the action of pulling? Right. Because the inaction bias is going to be a principle when there's a moral or harm thing, right? So we won't. But if our action isn't going, if we don't know or if we don't realize that it's going to harm someone, then yes, we will always prefer inaction to waiting. We will always prefer action to waiting or studying or, whatever. A classic example is in the TV shows. I can't just sit on my ass and do nothing. We gotta wait for backup. Hey, I'm not gonna just sit here on my ass and do nothing. But then, of course, that bias gets reinforced because that protagonist always succeeds. Nothing ever happens. Oh, I hate TV. It talks about the estimates of backup. If you don't get backup, there's a 90% chance you'll die. Well, I can't just sit here and do nothing. And then he goes in. And somehow, much more than 10% of the time in these situations, he survives and saves everyone and didn't need backup. What's the point in trying to convince you that of how your mind works? But all you do is just encourage your bullshit and defend and justify and just... The inaction bias. We can't do that. There must be another way. We're not going to sacrifice that person. That's how that's how so many scenes go. And there's going to be a scientist who said, or a doctor, that asshole rational person is like, we have no choice. We have to do it. If we don't do this, the world there's only a 10%, no, there's a 99% chance the world will be destroyed if we don't do this thing. No, there has to be another way. We cannot stoop to that level, or some bullshit that doesn't actually make any sense. And all it is really just the inaction voice talking. No, that thing will cause harm, therefore I'd prefer inaction, even if it would cause more harm. That's just my programming. And then what happens? The protagonist makes them wait. They don't drop the bombs. They don't do whatever harmful thing they were going to do to stop the problem, even though all their statistics and their computers and their experts were saying that they had to. And then the person who knew nothing, who all they were an inaction bias. It's all they contributed. And they were right. We didn't have to do that. There was this other magical way that you didn't even find until well after stopping everyone from doing the harmful thing. And it gets encouraged. You know how many movies have said, hey, inaction bias, good programming. Hey, action bias, good programming. Fuck. What was my point? Why did I make this second video? We're just gonna make this a bonus content video. Why did I make this? Oh yeah, just to give you those two examples, the action bias and the inaction bias. Or how about just our patternicity? See, an AI could be as good as at us at detecting patterns, but better than us at judging patterns. See, we're very, very good at detecting patterns. And then once we see a pattern, we tend to just think, oh, that pattern exists. That is there. That we can't not just see clouds, right? If once you show us the pattern, we see the pattern. Or a pattern of events, right? It could be totally random, but we think, because we're hypersensitive, right? So we detect real patterns, but we also see a lot of patterns that aren't real. An AI will also, in order to detect patterns, you have to also see patterns that are not real. But an AI will be better at judging those patterns, at questioning those, at regenerating a response, like I made a video recently, we don't regenerate responses. We don't ask the question a second time. So that's going to be one of the tricks we use. Every time you have an opinion, a belief, whatever, an answer to a question, tell your brain you're not allowed to have that answer and ask the question again and see what comes out. And just keep doing that. Keep producing regenerating responses. Humans don't do that. AIs already do that. They already have that capacity. We sort of do that if there's a salient enough objection or opposition to our answer. Wow. But what I'm actually saying is that rather than, even if nobody has said you're wrong, just when you come up with a thing, just regenerate a backup. Generate a backup. So there we go, okay? Download this video so that you can watch out for your inaction bias, watch out for the action bias. So if you don't want to act in a situation, right, just ask yourself, oh, could this be the inaction bias? Oh, did you think I was just gonna say just ask yourself that? No, that's not how it works. So here's what you do. So you say, okay, so I don't want to act in a situation. All right, so why don't I want to act? Because one reason that I know I might not want to act is because it could cause harm. But the thing is that I wouldn't think to check to see whether my inaction would cause more harm. So let's check. Okay, the inaction, that would cause more harm. So I guess, okay, so I'm not going to use my inaction voice because that's obviously playing here. So basically, I have another voice that does say 5 lives is better than 1 life. So now let me regenerate a response based on that voice. So, okay, so first time I asked, what should I do? Oh, don't do anything. You can't hurt someone. Oh, okay. That could be an action bias. Oh, and I see actually that would be very harmful if I don't do anything. Okay. So what should I do? And then automatically you'll get a response based on another voice. And maybe it'll be the voice that knows that 5 is greater than 1. Oh, sacrifice? Okay. We got our 2 options. Cool. And then for patterns, that may be a pattern, a meaningful pattern, or it might not be. Okay, download this video. We've got action bias, inaction bias. Right, so if you think I gotta do something, go, wait a minute, do I have to do something? Yes, I gotta do something, right, okay. But that's that inaction, that's that action protocol. Let me just make sure, let me just check, if I do something, will that cause harm? Is there some benefit to not doing something? Blah, blah, blah. Okay? Download this video. Seriously, download this bonus content. Don't download the other one. I think it was longer. Just download this one. Keep it on a flash drive with you. Oh, no. So you gotta plug flash drives in a computer. Transcribe this video. Print out the transcript. No. Buy this. Buy this. This is your survival guide. This is about, I think, 50 of your bad programming rules. Yeah, forget about me. Okay, not this video. Not gonna be able to. Wait, when does he talk about this? Fast forward. Wait, now he's gone on this tangent. Does he ever get back to this? No, I think it was before, because then he stopped talking about that for a while, and then he talked about it. Okay, 48 bad programs that you have, bad shortcuts. You have, all of your brain is shortcuts, but here are 48 bad ones. Here are 99. Let's say 100 put together. Well, no, let's say more than 100. Let's say 130, because there are definitely unique ones. Okay, there you go. So, I don't know. We don't have to buy the whole book. Just create a cheat sheet of all of the 130 or whatever. Put it in your back pocket for when the apocalypse comes, so that you don't make human decisions. Because if you do, you can be beat by the AI. All right, good luck. And and then if you're humble enough, and you have people that you can work together with, and who are humble enough and have that critical recognition to know that they can't really trust their brains, so they're working together, trying to trust evidence instead, trying to reduce as much as possible the role that their perception interpretation plays, then find me in whatever cave I'm dwelling. Hopefully you've brought an engineer along with you, a computer scientist, and a doctor, and some military folk. And I'm the last piece that you needed. and then we're gonna go out there and we're gonna take back what's ours. And then maybe in season 3, I'm gonna have given up on you guys, and I'm gonna betray you to the AI. Say this world will be much better if it's dominated by AI.